What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about metallic gold paint. I'm going to show you guys different ways that you can use metallic gold paint, how I applied it right here to the storm painting. Isn't that a fabulous painting? Oh my gosh. Anyways, we're going to get into how exactly I used it, and we're also going to talk about how you can incorporate it into your paintings and give it a different type of unique look. A lot of people have bad things to say about metallic paint. Even I myself, for my gold mixing tutorial, which you can check out here, I said, you know what? Don't use the metallic paints. Go ahead and learn how to mix your own gold or silver chrome looking colors, which you absolutely should. However, if you like a color such as the metallic gold, go ahead and buy it and use it. You shouldn't let me or any other artist kind of sway how you feel about your likingness to a certain color or product or whatever. If you absolutely like something, go ahead and get it. But also, let's learn how we can use it in different ways. So with that said, aside from learning to mix gold on your own, if you do have some metallic gold paint or you really like metallic gold paint and you picked it up, let's look at some ways we can use this. Now, there's a few different variations to which gold metallic paint can be used. There's the obvious, using it straight out the tube and applying it to your painting. However, there's a few different things you can do with this metallic gold paint that can be very useful in your paintings. Everything from the border edging, which pretty much what I use on here, to using it as a color in your skin tones, to using it for many other things, which I'll get into in the video. So I'm trying to grow this channel to 1,000 and beyond. I need you guys' help. Show me support by hitting that subscribe button. I'll give you a minute. Let's get into that video. All right, so I already applied some of the gold paint onto my canvas edge. However, it came out really thick. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of my liquid medium to it and I'm gonna thin it out. This will also help it dry a lot faster, right? So this is just a first layer that we're gonna be putting on before we put our tinted color. So I'm gonna get a nice amount out there on the palette. And I don't know if it's just this particular brand. I mean, this is just a generic student grade brand, but it is actually pretty thick. You'll see as I'm mixing it here how thick it is. And we're now gonna put in some of that liquid. And the good thing about this, like I said, it will help speed up the drying time, so you won't have to wait too long between putting your next layer. So I'm gonna be pretty liberal with the amount of liquid that I put on there. Then just gonna mix it in. See, like I said, this paint is really thick. Look at that. So I'm trying to thin it out. Not super thin, but just thin enough that it's gonna spread a lot easier when I apply it on the canvas, and also that it will dry a lot faster. But we still want to cover the white that the canvas shows, right? Or you might have a tinted canvas, but you want to cover it. I'm actually gonna add a bit more liquid to the mix. And then I'm gonna finish mixing this, and then we're gonna put it straight on. All right, so we have our paint here. Look how easy that spreads. So now we're just gonna apply it right here along this edge. And like I said, this is the first layer, so we're not trying to go for that super opaque look as yet. We just wanna get it started and kind of cover the area a bit. And then when we go in with our tinted color, then you're gonna see it covered a lot more and you're gonna really see it pop there. So this is just a starting point. The thing with oil painting that I find is that you always wanna have a starting point. a lot of people like to rush the process of oil painting, and it kind of goes against how oils operate. Oil painting is a slow drying medium, right? But in some cases, you want it to dry fast like this, where it's just the base layer. But with that being said, with it being a slow drying medium, you have to work it to your advantage. So even with things not being super opaque at first, you're still able to go back and adjust things as you go along. But for this demonstration, we're just gonna get a good amount of color on there first. Get a good amount of paint on there. That's what I meant to say. Get a good amount of paint on there. We're gonna let it dry. We're gonna come back and then we're gonna put our final layer on. All right, so now that our edge is dry, we're gonna go ahead and add our second layer. So we're gonna start off with the gold, of course. Put a pretty liberal amount there. Now, here comes the tinting part. You can actually tint it with any color. For this particular project, I'm going to be tinting it with the quinacridone violet. So as I always say, you start off with a bit, and then you work your way up if you want to make it darker. And also, because this is still very thick, I'm going to add some of my liquid medium just to thin it out and just so that it spreads better when applying it to the canvas. So here you see it's slightly tinted, so you have to make the decision. Do you want to stick with this, or do you want to tint it some more? In this case, I'm going to go ahead, add some more of the violet and tint it some more. And like I keep stressing, it's one of the key things that you start off with a small amount of your tint and then work your way up. Because if you add too much in the beginning and you don't like it, you can't go back. You can always go forward. So as we see here, we're getting a lot more of that violet with that metallic gold. So this is going to be more on the metallic side, but still highly tinted. Now look at that, much more violet, and it still has that metallic gold shimmer to it. So now we're back at our edge that we painted gold, and I'm going to show you guys just the difference here. So, stirring up the mixture here, getting the brush all lathered and saturated. So as you can see already, you can see the gold tinted with the violet. So let's go ahead and apply it. Look at that. Now, this might be too strong of a violet for some people, or whatever color you're mixing into your tint. So all you would have to do in that case, go back to your palette, mix in some more metallic gold, and then bring it to your liking. But this right here is what I'm comfortable with, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. So here's another view of the second layer, and as you can see, we have that metallic gold peeking through the violet. Even when the light bounces off of it, you can see the difference in how it first looked. Now you might be wondering, well, how does the gold stack up with other colors. So here I have some colors that you would find on the color wheel. And let's go ahead and mix the gold with all of these. And then we're gonna see how exactly it looks. So I have cadmium yellow, cadmium red, I have magenta, I have sap green, ultramarine blue, cobalt teal, and I also got some purple there. So let's go ahead, mix all of these, look at the final results. All right, so here we have our swatch infused with the metallic gold paint. Now let's go ahead and talk about what happened with each and every one of these colors. Let's start off with the cadmium red, cadmium yellow. Now these two are more opaque colors. So with that being said, I used quite a bit much and it overpowered the metallic, right? And then even if we spread it, we're still not getting much of that metallic shimmer. So then we go over to our magenta, and our magenta behaved much differently. You can still see the metallic come through. And then even when we spread it, you get a bit of that shimmer. Now when we go to the green looks amazing. And then when we spread it again, still see that metallic come through. One thing to keep in mind with the magenta and the sap green is that both are transparent colors. So with that being said, you don't need to use as much when mixing it with your metallic gold. And then also, compared to the opaques, it's not going to be as overpowering. Man, that green came out really good. I'm impressed. I might actually use that in a painting. So then we go over to our ultramarine blue. Once again, ultramarine blue, very opaque color. Not much coming through there. Then we go over to our cobalt teal. By the time I got to the ultramarine blue, I started using a bit less because I figured out what was going on. So there we see much more metallic with only a little bit used. Now if we go over to our purple or our violet, again, it's a semi-transparent, so you kind of have to be aware of how you mix it. All right, so here I have it under the light and I'm just doing a shimmer test. So, as you can see here, with the opaques, that gold doesn't really come through. It comes through a bit, but not as much as the transparent sap green. And then even here where I have the more opaque colors again, the ultramarine blue and the cobalt teal, I used a lot less for these, and you can see that gold come through good. Now when we get to the purple, we get an amazing shine off of that. Look at that, that's so pretty, man. What you also do is add the metallic gold to your skin tones and you can actually develop a pretty interesting picture from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix one up real quick. I'm just gonna add my flesh tint or pale rose blush. If you haven't seen my tutorial for how to mix skin tones with this, you could get any skin tone possible. Go check that out. So I got my colors here and I'm just gonna do a quick mix. Let's do a quick skin tones and then we're gonna add that metallic and then we're gonna apply it to a piece. So you'll be able to see in real time how everything looks. The thing is with paint, man, is that you always want to keep trying out new techniques, trying out methods. And I'm not saying, you know, try out a bunch of different ones all at once, but over time you want to keep learning. When you feel that you've mastered something or you've gotten a pretty good grip on it, then it's a good idea to test out some more techniques and add it to your arsenal. So there I have my skin tone right here. I also have some additional ones, but this will be the main one. Now comes the moment of truth. We're gonna take some of this skin tone and we're gonna add some of the metallic gold to it. If it comes out nice, then we're gonna put it on the paint. So here we go. Let's take some of that metallic gold. Remember, when you're doing mixes, especially when you're unsure of how things are gonna turn out, always start with a little bit and then work your way up gradually, because once you add a lot, you can't take it out. But you could always add more. So here we go, mixing it in. Now, it didn't change the color too drastically. It made it a bit lighter, but it's not that far off. So if I wanted to maintain this, all I would have to do is just add a bit less. And the whole idea of adding the metallic paint to your skin tones is to give it that metallic finish. So I'm just gonna add a bit more. I like that so far. This is kind of like an alternative to putting white in, and it's something different. All right, so here we have our skin tone mixed with the metallic. It's hard to pick up on the camera, but it has a bit of shininess to it. It still has that metallic kind of tint to it. So as I go along with this painting, I make sure that I have some of that metallic gold on hand. So it's right there on the palette when I need, just in case I need to make any adjustments in terms of it being more shimmery and more glistening. I also have the other colors up there too, right? So I have my cadmium red, cadmium yellow, just in case I want to incorporate that more into the mix. I'm gonna be having a full video on this. This is just a quick introduction and demonstration as to how I use the metallic gold in the skin tones. But make sure you're subscribed, because I will be having a full video up soon enough. But in short, we're just mixing the metallic gold along with our skin tone to get that nice shimmer and difference. So there you have it, how to use gold metallic paint, then just, you know, simply just using it straight out the tube. We learned how we can mix it up. We can create some pretty interesting pictures, and we could do some pretty interesting things. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video, man. Make sure to share it. Also, you can check out the playlist right here where I have other tutorials up. And please don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.